Oh, I'm live. I think I'm live. Yes, I am. I'm live. Nice one. Hello, guys. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just fix this up a little bit. It's all over the place. Good to see you guys here. I'm so happy to see you guys. Man, I need to apologize for yesterday. Yesterday was horrendous. It was a horrendous day for me. Oh, goodness, let's have a look. It was a horrendous day for me. I'm going to be honest. I have. Wait, sorry. Let me read some of your messages first, guys. Give me a second before I apologize for missing yesterday's live. So, hi, the last African, MI6, my main Negropean brother. The show is proper. Nice to hear. It's MI5, right? Isn't it MI5 that deals with this type of thing, the foreign thing? MI6 is for, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I'll listen in just to hear. It's so good to hear from you, Mr. Uganda. I've got a video coming up on Uganda. I wanted to do something a bit more fun. I just needed to get away from this whole sort of stuff that's going on in West Africa, in the Gambia. So I'm going to do a video on Nollywood because I think it's something we need to talk about. No one's talking about it, and the Americans have used Hollywood to sell themselves around the world as being this not parasitic, but this paradise of a country, and I think that we could do the same thing with Nollywood, but I don't think we are taking advantage of that. So I wanted to talk about how we can, what kind of tools we have on the continent now that we can use to make sure people see the real face of Africa, the Africa that we know. Okay. So yeah, that's going to be my video that's coming up very soon. Thank you, Professor Cupcake Joy. Thank you very much, and good evening to you. Pan African Moors, reaching for low-hanging fruit, looking for conflicts where none exists. Yeah, I'm looking. How can I look for conflict if it doesn't exist? Okay, that's a very strange comment, but fair enough. Shazaji, good afternoon, Shaza. It's very good to see you. Greetings and good evening. Bidivani. Hello, Tanya. Good to see you. What's the time over there? 8 o'clock. Early. Going to work. I'm going to your business, I'm guessing. Athena Garnett here from Virginia, USA. Yeah. Wow. Hello, Athena. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Right on. Whatever. Greetings, peace be unto you. Hello. Yes, Mr. Uganda, it is coming soon. So first of all, guys, I want to really quickly apologize for not going live yesterday. Really, it's I'm going to tell you the reason why. Okay, so last week I had a live and I had to change the times. I was just so tired that I wouldn't have been very good doing anything at that time. So I didn't do it, and I just changed the times till next week. And I got so caught up in this stuff that's happening in the Gambia. So many people emailing me, guys. Boy, I mean, I don't really want to go into it here, but there is so many people. I mentioned these people's names, and there are so many people that have had similar experiences with this woman, and also, strangely enough, with the with Exodus Alliance. So I'm writing a video about this particular about everything what's going on, because I think it's more designed. I don't think this is just, oh well, oh yeah, everyone's just happened to be in the Gambia, and it's not like that. there just needs to, it seems as if there is a concerted effort to bring these types of nefarious people to the Gambia. And I cannot ignore that. So yesterday I was busy writing. Literally, I was stuck sitting there writing this video. I had to reach out to different people, sending emails out, just trying to get information about these people. Okay, and that's what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to get information about these people. So I was speaking to my sources all day yesterday, and boy, it was busy. It was a busy day, and I just missed the notification. I did miss it. So really, I'm sorry about that. You're doing great work. Keep it up. Okay, great. Thank you, lovely lady. 10 a.m. there. Okay, that's Central Eastern, is it? I don't know. So guys, what I want to talk about today was where we left off with the conversation last time. All right. So last time, you've got to be kidding me. Stay in your Negropean lane and talk about things you have knowledge of. Oh, well, I have knowledge of this because we've had more people just like you, Malayla Menwaza. That's a fake name, isn't it? That's a fake name, isn't it, Malayla? So, guys, this is part of what I wanted to speak about because I had an email from somebody who was in a relationship with someone who is ADOS, a hardcore ADOS person. And this person used to tell her, so there's a female that emailed me, used to tell her about how ADOS members would sort of look to bully people online. There's a way of them doing it. There's a literal system that they use. And this is why they all do this. It's really strange. It sounds strange, but it's like that's why they all come out with the similar sort of talk, you know. Like what do they all say? They all say Pan-Africanism is dead. Have you heard that one before? But you would have thought somebody would say, listen, this is the end of Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism is at its end. Pan-Africanism is going to be gone soon. No, but it's literally the same line. Pan-Africanism is dead. And it's like they all use this same bloody sentence. And I'm like, why they keep ramming that down other people's throats? Okay, fair enough. That's your opinion. Okay, let's move on. Let's agree to disagree and let's move on. However, so you've got people like this, Malayla Memwaza, whatever her name is, which is clearly not her name because but what another thing that Pan-Africans did when I was talking about Art Cafe is they would have 5 YouTube accounts. They'd have 5 Google accounts, of course, which would give them 5 YouTube accounts. And then they would have conversations with themselves in my comment section. So they would literally have conversations with themselves, trying to get people to sort of agree to a certain thing, or to look at a group of people seeing me or seeing my efforts to expose Art Cafe or whatever in a certain way. They all do this, by the way. They all do this. The ADOS people aren't the only people that do. They ain't the only group that do this. So I'll speak about that more tomorrow in a different video. Let's have a look. Caden Pat. What percentage of African Americans are actually part of ADOS movement? I don't believe it's all that large. They're just like I don't think it's that large either. But this is the problem. I think that this Yvette Carnell, I think she's trying to make it more mainstream, and she's struggling because a lot of the followers, a lot of the citizens, the people who follow ADOS, I think they're quite militant. The God of Jacob. Nice to have you here, God of Jacob. I'm glad you're here, actually. Title is interesting. How is it versus when ADOS is only seeking self-recompense? You know, I didn't know what to put as the title, because the reality is, I'm going to tell you this, God of Jacob. I struggle to see both the ADOS movement and the Pan African movement. It seems as though they can't coexist. It seems as though they are struggling to coexist, which is the reason why I put ADOS versus Pan Africanism, because it seems as though they are both struggling in this world, trying to influence a certain ethnic group in the United States that they should be a part of one of their movements. And this is why I said versus. It's quite important. Caden, Pat, speak on whatever you like. It's your channel. I will do, Caden. Will do. Thank you. Pan-African Moors agree that American media has negatively impacted on ADOS Black community. I think so too. I think so too. Let's not let Nollywood follow suit. That could be grounds for a conversation. That could be. Keep that in mind. I think we're going to have a conversation about that. Okay. American entertainment has been damaging to the ADOS Blacks as Christianity. As Christianity. I'm not sure if it's going to be as bad as Christianity has been. But yeah, ADOS is actually larger. The spin is to convince people that it isn't large in an attempt. God of Jacob, do you have like registered people who are registered with ADOS? Do you have people that are registered with them? It would be interesting to see how many people are actually following. It would be interesting. If ADOS, and the thing is though, and this is what I get a lot of people saying, oh, you shouldn't be speaking on subjects that you don't know about. I get a lot of ADOS people telling me these exact same words. And I'm like, wait a minute, if you're here and I don't know anything about it, why don't you educate me about it? Educate me about it. Tell me why I shouldn't. You know, it's just, there are a lot of open forums, right, where people can educate themselves, right? But it seems as though a lot of the movement simply just wants to, doesn't want people speaking about them in a negative manner, but they are being not nice, which is okay. That's fine. We're diasporans, right? I lived in and grew up in the United Kingdom. Okay, a lot of people weren't very nice to me in the 1980s in school in England. Okay, okay, but that's just the way it is. There isn't much that people can throw at me that's going to offend me. So. Hence the reason I was smiling during my interview last week. It's just I found it more amusing that this Sister Yah was speaking in this more than anything. I wasn't offended at all. I swear down, Gambians don't deserve this. Of course they don't. It's really horrible. But do you know what? I tell you this, Bakary can be. Most Gambians don't know this is happening. You know what Africans are like? Africans are like, yeah, which they get up in the morning, they're going about their business, care about this crap. Most of them don't care. They're focusing on growing. They're focusing on some of the ones that don't have that much money, who are struggling. Those people are surviving. They're planning on surviving. Is this Jafar? Jafar, put on your mic, put on your screen, Jafar. I think I know this is actually, and that would be interesting if this is Dean. Is that you, Dean? Okay, so seems as though ADOS was created by white supremacists to attack other black people. Caden Pat. Well, does any of the ADOS brothers want to reply to that? It seems like ADOS was created by white supremacists to attack other black people. Where's Samumba gone? Where's Samumba gone? Samumba, come back. Yeah, okay. That is, I mean, you know, I find it strange that the ADOS group tend to, I've never seen anybody in a, I mean, not like I go around looking in white supremacist chat rooms and stuff, but I haven't seen a lot of anger directed towards them, and I haven't heard a lot of people speaking about them either. Listen, Jafar, I want to bring you in, but you need to turn on your camera, please. And another thing as well, I want us to keep this as clean as possible. I want like an intelligent conversation now, okay? I really do. I want us to try and, I don't know. I don't think we'll be able to resolve anything, but I think if we can learn something out of today about each other's movements, it'd be really good. Okay, guys, I'm gonna let Samumba into the chat, into the video talk, so we can talk together. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna let him in. And God of Jacob, thank you very much for that. Thank you, and blessings and respect for that super chat. I see that. I'm just trying to read everybody's. It's a choice. Yeah, I realize it's a choice. I realize ADOS is a computer gangster. ADOS is not only social media. Okay, Simon, but I'm going to let you come in so you can explain yourself. Add to stream. Good evening. Oh, it's a good day over there.
Good day. I got a little bit of feedback. I'm like hearing like the replay a little bit, but can you hear me okay?
I can hear you loud and clear, and thank you very much for joining us. I know you're probably were you just getting up for work or something? Was you in the middle of something?
No. I'm not working today, believe it or not. Long story, nice. But I need to shave and everything, so forgive my appearance.
Have you looked at this?
And I got a little feedback. I can hear the chat and then what we're talking about. So I'll just make a statement to make it easy.
Yeah. We can hear you clearly, by the way.
You got the grade coming.
Okay. We can hear you clearly, by the way. So
just
say your thing.
It's feedback on my end. Let me just say this, that I think that ADOS isn't necessarily created by white supremacists or MAGA people or whatever, but I feel like they have an ideology that's more divisive. It's focused on us supposedly to get reparations. But as I said before, HR 40 is dead on arrival in America. Like, it's not going to pass the House or the Senate. So I don't really know what they're doing, but it just seems to sow more division. Like, has ADOS people, have they really done their DNA ancestry? Did they really say, or did they say where they're from? You know, because we're kind of all from the same West African region. As you know, is from Cameroon, Bioko Island. But from there to Senegal is basically where most African Americans, so-called African Americans, are from. So to me, I believe in African internationalism, or an expanded version of Pan Africanism. Wherever African people are, we should be fighting to unite, if not to go back to Africa, to at least empower each other throughout the diaspora. And I feel like, you know, I've had to block a couple people on this feed because, you know, I hear the thing, and really, it's really divisive. It goes back 100, 150 years to when Du Bois, W.E.B. Du Bois, and Booker T. Washington were fighting. But people don't understand that Marcus Garvey, who believed in Pan-Africanism, actually was a follower of Booker T. Washington. And he followed Booker T. Washington because he believed that we should be doing for ourselves, building our own institutions, from education to vocational education and otherwise. So the division is anybody who says that we're not diasporans and part of the larger African diaspora. That's where the division comes in, you know. And people say, well, what has Pan-Africanism done? Well, Pan-Africanism has laid a groundwork a framework for us to think and for how us to move. There's been great leaders like Thomas Sankara, Patrice Lumumba, specifically Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, Julius Nyerere of Tanzania, that have actually run countries, that have actually built institutions in those countries, that have actually laid the groundwork for Africans in America and other places to come back to Africa, repatriate, and all the rest of it. So you can't say that the Pan Africanism hasn't done anything. What has ADOS done beyond social media? Honestly, it's not involved in the community, offline community. It's not involved in uniting our people. It's really just creating more division. So I'm not against their aims. I think we should all have reparations. But at the end of the day, we are one people, and all Africans that come to this country experience not only racism, but exploitation. Africans that come to this country are the Uber drivers, are the delivery drivers like myself, are others underpaid workers that are getting exploited by America or American capitalism. So why don't they deserve some sort of recompensation as well? Maybe not reparations like we get them, but they also suffer under the hands of American imperialism, American capitalism. So anyway, everybody a lot of people understand what ADOS is about, but them and the FBA, we need to talk about them. Foundational Black Americans, I think, that Tariq Nasheed talks about. We need to talk about that because that can be a divisive entity as well. But when people ask what Pan-Africanism has done, it has laid the groundwork for us to have an understanding to move forward. And if you don't have an understanding and an education, how can you move forward? And there have been Pan-Africanist leaders that have created great things in their country and have also created links for people in the diaspora to come back and to contribute. It's up to us as diasporans to come back and help to build Africa and build wherever we are. We can't just sit here and blame the Chinese or the Japanese or others that are there if we're not offering our services and our resources to help. And we also need help, of course, from those African governments as well to make sure that they're not colonized or neo-colonized. So that's all I wanted to say. It seems like most people on the feed understand, but at the end of the day, we need to start with the understanding that we're all African people. We can unite, and there's billions of us across the globe. That's all I want to say.
So, Mumbak, just one quick question. One quick question. Yeah. But don't you think it would be beneficial if we supported one another? Just agreed that, hey, okay, you're going to do this, we're going to do that, but let's support one another, like by saying, okay, you're going to go for reparations for your people. Good. That's good. Yeah. We're happy with that, and that would set a precedent for other people to do the same thing. Let's support. We'll support you on that. We're happy with that, and with the ADOS movement saying, okay, listen, you want to go back to Africa? Well, that we accept that we are. That we have African origins. That we accept that is the case. But we're going to do our own thing here. If you want to go over to Africa and create this link from the diaspora to the continent, we applaud you for that. Why aren't we doing this? Just really quickly.
Tell me why. Everybody has a role. Forgive me, I'm still getting a little feedback from the feed, but we all have a role to play, and I would love to work with ADOS people because them are my brothers and my sisters. But at the end of the day, just like you have different sets of the Nation of Islam. You have different sets of Black Hebrews or Israelites. And I think at the end of the day, some of these groups aren't willing to come together because they are all trying to make their own money on the side and push their own ideology. It's not about we're one family or we're one nation. It's not about building unity. It's about creating my little set so I can make my money and make my get my ego or get my ideology out to rule over everyone else. When I was in college, I tried to bring together Muslims, Pan-Africanists, Christians, everything. And I realized we did this forum. It was at a historically Black college, Southern University. And I'll never forget how it was supposed to be about unity, but each group was talking about their own leader or their own ideology and all the rest of it. Instead of saying, well, the Nation of Islam, we should support their schools because they have independent schools that are teaching Black history and trying to create a nation. Instead of ADOS saying, well, we're working on reparations HR 40. This is the process. The rest of you Africans need to be part of this and support it. Instead of saying, well, this is the Uhuru movement. We're building Black Power in St. Louis, actual structure. You guys should support this. You know, and instead of saying all these things, it's like, no, I'm pushing my view. I'm pushing my organization. Oh, and please donate. I think a lot of that comes back to the same thing with the Exodus part. If you're not trying to create unity based on principles, based on transparency, based on accountability, you can run all your. I wish I had one. You can run all your red, black, and green flags and raise your Black Power fist all you want. It's not going to make a difference, you know. And this is one of the problems in Africa. You have these Mobutu, for example. I'm sorry, no, I'm jumping. Mobutu in Zaire, the Congo, was pushing a Black Pan African ideology or speaking it, but he's the one that helped to kill Lumumba, you know. So, like, really, wow. What are we really? Yeah, I mean, that's just some research people need to do, you know. But it's just we have to understand that if there's going to be unity, it has to be principled unity. Everybody has their role to play. Everybody has some resources on one level or another. But at the end of the day, a lot of these groups are just trying to pull you into their group rather than laying a greater foundation for all of us. You know what I'm saying? It's just like people that were pushing this whole Ice Cube plan or whatever, platinum plan for Black America. And it's like, you know, that's good and everything, but we got people that are suffering right here and right now that don't have housing, that don't have health care. Here in America, you know, we have food insecurity in this country. And I don't hear any of these groups really talking about that. People like myself that, you know, that are struggling with housing issues, struggling with gentrification, struggling with wages and stuff like that. So we need to have organizations and movements that really respond to what's happening on the ground. And we all have a role to play in this struggle. And hopefully we can get to some more engaging conversations like you're trying to start here with our people. So anyway, I'm talking too much.
Sumamba, in 20 seconds, please answer this question. When will you go to Africa? I think God of Jacob is asking. I've got one more person. When will you go to Africa? When will you go to Africa?
I'm going to Africa. I was talking to someone out there actually today and found out she had somebody else, which is a whole nother story. Yeah, but I do plan to go back within the first 4 months of next year.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my plan, and I plan to go back to Ghana and then try to work my way to Rwanda. Okay. Anyway,
okay.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you for coming on board. Okay, thank you. And thank you again, God of Jacob. Thank you very much for that. We have Mr. Pirate Bra. I'm not sure what angle you want to come in at with. Good evening and welcome to the live stream. What have you got to say?
You know, I think it's unfair for people whose ancestors weren't brought up through chattel slavery in the United States to judge ADOS for wanting these reparations to be just about ADOS. And I'm going to tell you why. And I don't have a problem. I've done my DNA ancestry, okay? And I know what parts of Africa I'm from. I don't have a problem with it, but in the United States, we fought like crazy to get civil rights. And what they did is they gave us the trick bag and said, okay, so minorities can have civil rights. So, you know, we're thinking they're talking about us, and they're talking about white women. They're talking about, you know, Chinese people. They're talking about Caribbean people that weren't able to come to the United States until we fought for civil rights. Then Black people from around the world were able to get into the United States. You know this history is to be true. So then what happens is these people come over and they see us behave in a certain way because of chattel slavery, and they disrespect us. They say, well, look, I'm doing well. Why aren't you doing well? You know, not thinking that, well, you know, there's a whole system in place to keep us down. In fact, they will put you on top of us because you come from outside and you understand, well, we're going to put you on top of ADOS. And it's not that ADOS is hating on Africans from England, from Caribbean, or from Africa. It's not that at all. What it is we deserve a certain type of reparations that they don't deserve in our country. Because if you're in our country, you came here by choice. You see what I'm saying? We didn't have a choice to come here. If you came to the United States, you came because you bought a ticket and you came. Now, if you were mistreated, that's your problem. Because I'm not belittling your mistreatment, but I'm saying no one told you to come here.
Let's be honest with ourselves. The reparations are for people whose ancestors came into the United States through slavery, right? So that has always been said by ADOS. They just said, I mean, the very name
that's
of
what
course
it should be. And here's why I want to say this to you. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I want to make sure.
I want you to talk. Please go ahead.
Because I'll forget. Here's the problem. You have the government has propped up a lot of people that look like us, like Joy Reid on AM Joy, on the TV show. A lot of these people in Congress, the lady that supposedly put up HR 14 or whatever that thing is, and they put it up as a trick, as a Trojan horse, because these people talk bad about us. They tell us to shut up. We shouldn't have a voice. And even some of them say, well, I don't think we really need to get cash reparations. Yeah, but you're not ADOS. What right do you have to say that? And to be fair, ADOS will never say, you'll never hear ADOS say Jamaica shouldn't pay reparations to Jamaicans there that are mistreated, or you'll never hear ADOS say England shouldn't pay the Wimbush generation reparations. You'll never, in fact, we'll say, yes, you should get it. And you'll never hear us stick our nose in it and say, well, we should get some reparations from that Wimbush generation. But everybody sticks their nose in our reparation pot. And to be honest, and look, I'm not claiming ADOS or foundational Black, although I am that, but I'd rather look at myself as the Pan. I'd rather go to Africa, to be honest with you. But I think it's unfair that everybody that wasn't brought here as a chattel slave has their mouth in our cause if they're not going to support our cause. There's a few channels that are, there's a guy, I forget where he's from. I wish I knew his name. I would tell the channel, because he deserves praise. As much as I'll get on a person's case, I'll praise a person that's doing right. He says he's not, I think he's from Trinidad or something. And he says, we should get reparations, but he always says he's not from here. And I think it's fair to be that way, because we every time they say they're going to give us something, they give it to everybody else, and we get the last 2% of it. You know what I'm saying? We always get the last 2%, and this is the problem that's going on right now. And everybody else, because they're Black, they're offended, and it's like, but no one made you come here. It would be it's like I hear you all the time with the Art Cathy thing, and the I call them the snack family, K&K. No one made them go to Africa. Because they want, if you go on your own, you got to deal with the situation with the cards you're handed, because you walked into that situation. So I disagree when you go to another country and then you start complaining about that country.
But can I ask a question?
Sure.
Why can't we like agree to disagree and possibly even support one another's causes, beings that we come from a related background, and of course, me being of Jamaican origin, my forefathers were slaves as well. Us doing everything in our power. I think we've had a message here, someone saying Boris Johnson said no to reparations, but it doesn't matter what he said. Ultimately, at the end of the day, at some point, this is going to go to the highest court in the European land, and it's going to come back in our favor. Sorry, let me rethink what I was trying to say. Can't we just support one another, instead of trying to belittle one another and
Well, I think you're saying what I'm saying, really. I mean,
yeah.
we're saying the same. In fact, let's reword that. I don't think we should agree to disagree. We should agree to agree. I mean, I agree that you should get what they did to you over there in England, bringing everybody over from Jamaica. And then when you finish building everything, they say, go back to Jamaica. And you don't even know anybody over there. And Jamaica's so bad. Look, I follow events going around the world. You got people that have been sent back to Jamaica and they're being killed by Jamaicans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They go over to build their house and they get robbed and murdered because they don't know anybody over there. They don't know how the system works. They didn't grow up in it.
There are plenty of white people, white Americans, actually, wealthy white Americans who are going to Jamaica and they're living very comfortable, very safe lives. It's strange the way it's come apart, the two societies now. There is this huge wealth gap that's happening in Jamaica, and what is the solution? What is the solution? I know you're saying that you want to get reparations, but the reality is ADOS will need something. The Chinese had something. They had the manufacturing skills and they had the people to build whatever the world wanted very, very cheaply. The Jews had money, right? The Jews had lots of money anyway. What do we have? What does ADOS have that will bring to the American government's table and say, there you go, we want our reparations? Because they seem to have something. I believe the Japanese got reparations, but they were so small. It wasn't a huge group of them, wasn't it? After World War II, they got reparations for being put in these camps in America. What do you reckon ADOS can bring to the table that will make the ears of the American government finally stand up and listen?
Well, for the most part, we don't have anything. I mean, the few of us, that have something, the Beyoncé's, the Jay-Z, they can't do anything because the moment they speak out, they'll get taken down. Look at Bill Cosby, as wealthy as he is. I don't believe he's guilty of those crimes. He's a billionaire, and now he's in jail. So if it can happen to Bill Cosby, that's a form of buck breaking. We'll pick the biggest, baddest Negro, and we will bring him down, and that will teach all the other Negroes to fall in line. This has been going on since we got there. So that's all he wanted, and everybody else fell in line. So it's one of those situations where we don't have anything to bring in the table. That's why we're fighting for reparations. I think personally, every group should fight for reparations in the country that they were brought to. And in that way, if we agree to support each other and stop trying to undermine each other and get in each other's business, it's like if you say, well, we want 500 cows apiece for reparations, and we're over here saying 500 cows, what's wrong with you? Why don't you get some Lamborghinis? But we should say, okay, we want you to give them 500 cows. It's none of our business that you want 500 cows. But if that's what you want, we support you.
I'm gonna actually. Sorry, one thing, Bo-Katan, please turn on your camera. I want to see you. I've got another question about the finances. Let's say if the ADOS movement happens and you get your reparations, how will the money be spent? What is the most appropriate way that we can use? Because this is what we don't want to do as Black people in general. We tend to spend money pretty quickly. Our money comes in, we want things. We want to buy, like you said, Lamborghinis. We want to buy fast cars, nice houses, and that sort of a thing. Our money would just go directly. That's what I'm scared of.
Okay, I'm going to give you my opinion on that. I feel what you're saying. Okay. First thing, this is part one of my answer. First thing, if you owe me money, it's none of your business how I spend my money. Just give me my money and let me do with it as I will. The second part of the answer is, if I get reparations, I'm getting out of here. I'm going to Africa. I'm going to go buy me property and build. So, I mean, if my next door neighbor wants to ride around in Lamborghinis and this godforsaken place, that's on him. I can't say and we all say, well, we have to do some group things. Well, I watch your channel, man. I do wish you would get on some other people besides ADOS, but okay. I saw the one you did, but it was light. It was very light. But
there's another one coming. There's another one coming, believe it or not. I can't believe that we've been doing this to ourselves here in the Afro-Caribbean community in the United Kingdom as well. I've had 3 other people come out and I'm like, oh my God, here we go. But it's you know, you got to remember the African American ethnicity is probably by far the most influential ethnicity, African ethnicity anyway, on the planet. Probably one of the most influential ethnicities ever. That's arguable, but you could say that and have a good argument with somebody, and no one would sort of, their eyebrows wouldn't go up. So I think you have, you know, you've got a big responsibility at the end of the day, because you are the ethnicity that all Africans look to. I mean, regardless, I know a lot of Africans are going to be like, no, we don't, but it's kind of the truth. So you have that responsibility, and it's important that, I don't know, we do things right. And I'm hoping that this Yvette Carnell actually realizes this, and she sort of tries to bring the ADOS movement back into the mainstream, and sort of gets the guys who are I think she tried to take out all these people that were sort of xenophobes, the xenophobic sort of thing.
People were looking at her sexuality and not at her works. You know, look, the way they push homosexuality as a normal thing, you know, I'm not really for it. But at the same time, you know, I'm not against people that are gay, homosexual. I mean, you know what I mean? It's our community has homosexuals, and they try to make it like Black people are homophobic, and we're not. You know, I don't know how they are in other countries, but in fact, in our community, homosexuals could come and find refuge in our community. It wasn't us beating them. Now you might find a 1 or 2 people to get beat up or killed, but because they were trying to trick somebody into like they were a woman and they weren't a woman. And that's kind of messed up. I mean, if you're a transgender person, just say you are, you know. And so we don't have those issues in our community. They try to put it on us. And Yvette Carnell, they're trying to bring her sexuality into this, and it has nothing to do with it. She's done the work, you know, and she deserves respect, you know. And I don't know her personally, but I just know her works. I watch her channel every now and again. I don't watch it all the time, and I think they have delegitimized her, and instead of, for example, Tariq Nasheed coming in and working with them, he separated the movement. You see, and it's not that I have anything against Tariq Nasheed, but he could have joined forces with them But that's our problem. We always separate one another. And I don't think ADOS is separating from the Bush generation or what happened in the Caribbean. It's just that we're trying to take care of what happened to us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're trying to have. I see the Woke Africa show said hi. Yeah, that my name is David.
Okay.
Yeah, so what it's not. I don't think ADOS is trying to do that, but we're responding to the attacks that are holding us back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, because if you ask me about you're from either the UK or Europe, or
I was born in the UK, raised in the UK. Both my parents are from Jamaica, right.
Yeah. So you want reparations for what was done to your people.
Of course, yeah.
If I moved over there, I wouldn't try to lay claim to that.
Yeah.
It's course. Not mine, and I would be moving over there of my own volition. So I don't have any right to claim that. The only thing I have is to support you. You know. But hey, look, I spoke my piece, man. Thanks for allowing me to come on.
No, thank you, and I'm actually happy God of Jacob has managed to give us a bit of time. I understand you're really busy. Thanks for joining us, God of Jacob. I can't hear you. Sorry, I think your mic is up. Maybe.
How's that? Am I good?
Much better. You got another fellow ADOS brother here. We're just chatting about the leadership, about Yvette Carnell, and about the culture, this culture that she tried to stamp out of xenophobia out of the organization. I'm guessing you agree that she's the right person to take you forward. Do you think she's doing a good job? Do you think she's going to give you what you have asked for, your mandate, the reparations? Do you reckon she will get you that?
It's not about her getting us there, because if you really pay attention and follow ADOS isn't centered around one leader. You get what I'm saying? When people start up chapters in these cities, they don't report to Yvette Carnell. What they do is stay grounded to the message. Now, how they run their thing and do their thing, Yvette Carnell doesn't run that. All she do is brings data to the masses, and we take that data, and you might start a chapter, or you might act independently. You might do what you want to do, but she's just a face or a spokesperson right now, and kind of get us riled up like go team go. But she's not the leader. There's chapters out here all around that's popping up right now, and Yvette or Tone has nothing to do with that. You get what I'm saying? So she brings out data, and coincidentally, the data she brings, she gets from other people. Darity is really, when you wanna pull the sheets behind this thing, Darity is ADOS. It's his data that he taught them the data, and they came to YouTube and present. Now his delivery is different from her delivery. It needed her and Tone to put it out there like that, because Darity is more laid back. He's a professor at Duke. He ain't gonna get me on ADOS with his delivery. But if you bring a Tone and Yvette and the way they deliver it, then hey, I'm go team go. But it's not xenophobic as people try to put it. It's just, for once, we want to be selfish for a season. Give us a quarter to be selfish and do us. Because for you to call us a xenophobic, that's far from the truth. Black Americans or African Americans, we have been welcoming to everybody. Everybody who's come to this country, we have embraced them. Yeah, you got little cultural nuances and beefing, but not to the point where you guys are trying to say it's a xenophobic movement. That's not true. That is not true at all. If it was the case, Sheila Jackson wouldn't be in the position she is, and she's a Caribbean. Who put her in office? ADOS. Same thing for Yvette Part in New York. Who put her in office? ADOS. So you can't call us xenophobic. It's just
Mhm.
this point in time we want to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. And in '67, Martin Luther King said what? He coming to get his check. He called us the descendants of slavery. Not ADOS is not new. It's not
Mhm.
new. It just rolled out differently and more aggressively under Yvette Carnell. And that's a
Mhm.
problem we have. And again, I always push back. ADOS is considered divisive, but we stole it from CARICOM. CARICOM, when all the Caribbean nations got together, and what did they do? They presented their case as a unit, as a body, as a group, and petitioned for reparations. But they don't get called divisive.
Mhm.
It's only us.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
problem is,
I.
yeah. So we gotta do better than that. Yeah, we are
Yeah.
Black Americans. We getting our ego. We do our thing. You come at us with some smoke, we gonna give it right back. You know, that's we Black people. We passionate like that. So at the end of the day, it is what it is.
What about the anti-immigration uh, laws that were tried that tried to that were tried to be that tried to be initiated in the United States, and those anti-immigration groups that are affiliated with ADOS, that ADOS has ties to. A lot of people in the Black community in general have sort of they've had raised eyebrows and have said, okay, well, do you know who's in these anti-immigration groups? Why?
Here's
Go on, explain, please.
I'm gonna interrupt you for 1 second. Here's one thing Yvette Anton did teach us. You just
Mhm.
can't say nothing, just these Black immigrant groups. You got to come with some data. So you just saying out there, it says nothing to me. Put a
Okay,
name
so,
on these.
let me okay. I don't have a name, but can I ask you?
So it's hearsay.
Does I'll ask you then? Does
Okay.
ADOS have any affiliation with any anti-immigration groups in America? I'll ask you that first.
No, we what we do is adhere to the current laws that's in place. If you come here illegally, you shouldn't be here. If you go through the right process, you should be here. Is that anti or is that following law?
Mhm. No, that is just
Yeah,
following the law.
if you
So,
don't mind me interjecting one thing,
Go ahead, brother.
um, here's the thing. I live in the state of Texas. Okay, there's a lot of illegal immigrants in Texas. Now, a lot of illegal immigrants that come here, I'm not going to call out any one group, but they'll come here, they'll get all kinds of benefits that ADOS can't get. They will get licenses to food trucks that we can't get, and they will get set up to businesses in our neighborhoods. Okay, and we can't get that. And so what is happening is a lot of immigrants are coming here and getting put above us, and we're perpetually put on the bottom rung. And okay, if you come here legally, fair enough. But if you come here illegally and you're going to be put on top of us too, we got to speak out against it. You know, we can't allow that to keep happening because eventually you have to call that a genocide.
can I say something? You live in Texas. For many decades, a lot of Mexicans used to cross over the border. They used to go and work their humble jobs, and then they'd go back. None of them really wanted to live in the United States. Things have changed, of course, over the decades, and you now have a lot more immigrants coming in from Central America, from the Central American countries. And so let me ask you this: would you have a problem with Africans doing something similar, coming over, doing their work, and just keeping themselves to themselves, and perhaps living
Hey, I
there
hate
and
to,
becoming
hey,
Americans?
brother, I hate to interrupt you. I got to jump off real quick. I'm gonna listen in the background, but I got to take care of some
Yeah.
stuff. Good hear from you too, brother. Like your words. Keep it up, man. We
Thank you,
out of here.
God of Jacob. Thank you very much.
All right, brother.
Yeah.
And you too, brother. I ain't catch your name, but appreciate
David,
your
yeah,
words, man.
David.
yeah, my channel is Mr.
Yes, yes,
Potterbrain.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will subscribe. I got you. Catch y'all
Thank
on
you.
the flip side.
Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, does the ADOS movement itself, do they have a problem with immigrants coming in to live in the United States in general if they come in legally? So you're saying that's not a problem if Africans
I
come in?
I can't speak to that. Okay, I can only speak for myself. I was married to a woman from Argentina. I'm no longer married to her, but I was married for 18 years, and she was an immigrant. Some people that I work with here that help me out, I'm on disability, are are from Mexico. So I don't have that feeling. It's just not something that I have, but I do have that feeling of being pushed on the bottom. And that happens when people come in from other countries and are placed above us. It's not that they work any harder than us. We were considered hardworking people until we were released from slavery. Then all of a sudden we became lazy.
Lazy, yeah.
Yeah.
This
So,
is so funny.
we worked hard. Most of my life, in fact, my heart attack came on because I was working one job of 48 hours a week, and the other job was 30 hours a week.
Wow.
And it got to
That
me.
is crazy.
I was working 2 jobs. I was almost like the Jamaicans. The Jamaicans usually have 3 or 4 jobs here. They come, it's become a cliche, man. You only got 3 jobs. Well, I got 4. Now I had two jobs, but they were 2 full-time jobs, and it almost killed me. So I mean, to say that I'm lazy, it's insulting.
It is.
And then for someone else to come over and get all of those benefits that I have a friend that had his own business, and he broke his leg. He went down and tried to get food stamps, and they didn't want to give it to him because they said, well, he made too much money during the year. He's like, look, I work all my life. I paid into this system. Now I'm hurt. You see the cast on my leg. I don't want to be on food stamps forever. This is him speaking. I don't want to be on it forever. I just want to be on it until I can get back up and work, because he laid tile, and tile is a manual labor. So he needed to be healed. They wouldn't give it to him. And then you got a person that comes right over from another country and gets access to food stamps, all of that stuff.
Can I ask you?
It's not fair.
I've got Tanya Metoya, who has written right here: Hispanics here in Texas feel they are superior to blacks and are very vocal about it. Is that true?
Well, you saw with that lady on TV. I forget her name. Tanya probably could put it in the thing. She came and said Mexicans got the help Biden get in office, and it was the Latinas that did it, and she came right on and said that, and basically put African Americans down. And she was on national television when she did it.
Who was this lady? Sorry,
I forget her name. Somebody can put it in the chat, because I don't. Eva Longoria is her name.
Oh, her. Okay.
She came on television and did it. And Mexicans have done this. I mean, I remember when Black Panther came out, the woman that played in Fast and Furious was saying, well, where's our Black Panther? And it's like, for her to say that, it's like, you've been in one of the biggest franchises ever, Fast and Furious. What they up to? Fast and Furious 9 now?
Yeah, 9 or something ridiculous. Yeah.
And she's complaining about our Black Panther 1. And so this is a racism that's Eva Longoria, Tanya said. Yeah, it's a racism for you to even say something like that out of your mouth.
That's true. That's true.
And I don't want to leave it to just the Mexicans, went and made this movie about the oh man, my memory is gone. They had the woman from England who did the movie about our freedom fighter. Man, excuse my memory.
Yeah. What's her name? Yeah.
And then
Goodness. Yeah.
People got mad at us and said, well, Denzel Washington or this actor has played English people. It's not the fact that an English person played this woman. It's the fact that she had such bad feelings towards ADOS. She wasn't the right person to play it. If they had gotten a English person, for example, Chiwetel Ejiofor, he's played movies where he's played ADOS people, but he's always been respectful of us.
Yeah. He's a nice guy. I like him.
Yeah.
Actually, he's a good actor.
But this woman has said such bad things about us. How can she play our freedom fighter?
I think she's a continental African, I think, that was born. Was she born in Africa? I think she was born in Africa and then raised in the United Kingdom.
I don't know if she was born there. I know she was raised. She was in United Kingdom.
Yeah, she was raised in the United Kingdom. I forgot her name, but who was she? She was playing. I mean, let's ask this question. The person she was.
But it's early in the morning. You see me drinking.
No, it's crazy. Yeah. I keep the name Henrietta, but it's not Henrietta. I forgot her name. Does somebody know this? Yes, we know the name of the lady who we're talking about. Of the
Please don't take away my black card.
No, you can get to keep it. But
I know it, but for not having it on the tip of my tongue. But anyway,
I think a lot of those women and those that essentially helped slaves to escape. Harriet Tubman. Yeah,
Harriet Tubman. Yeah.
Harriet. I think Harriet Tubman would be probably slapping both of us at the back of our heads at this present moment and telling everybody.
Well, no, I mention her all the time. It's just that in the morning, my part of what I deal with my illness is my memory. When I'm talking, I lose my train of thought a lot of times.
Yeah. That's okay.
But women, black women played a huge part in our freedom. They played a huge part in our freedom. And what a lot of people don't realize, even in Africa, a lot of times the women have stepped forward before the men did.
They are incredible. I think. Listen, I know a lot of people are going to be like, "What are you talking about?" But African American women, for the part they've played, what they've done inside their community, it's nothing short of incredible. No other, especially in America. Okay, so let's say this: in America, no one else has even come close to what the black woman has done for all of us in general, for the whole of the United States. They've brought us into a new era, because those were the ones that were teaching the kids how to be strong. They taught most of our leaders, most of the civil rights leaders. You ask them, most of them were taught by maybe not so much Martin Luther King, but all the others. The women played.
Well, that's why this society has separated the black man from the black woman. We can't even really speak to each other now. I was on a platform the other day, and I tried to express my opinion, and I was asked to come on to express my opinion, and the person attacked me, and then they just cut me off abruptly, cut me off abruptly, which I don't blame her. It's just that this is the way that the system has kind of poisoned our minds, where we can't talk to each other. We can't, at least in the United States. I don't know how it is there, but
It's probably not as bad here, but I think Samumba, actually, the guy that was just on before, he spoke in the last live as well about the way he was kicked out of Black Lives Matter. Essentially, he was kicked out because a lot of the women saw the black males in the organization as being more of a liability because of the way the black males have been portrayed as being these people who dislike people of different genders and different sexualities. And so, yeah, I think it's I don't know, you having a clash of these liberals having a problem with black male toxicity, they call it.
Heterosexuals.
Yeah, just men, you know.
Right.
and it's sad. They don't understand that they run around talking about unity, but they can't unify themselves. We're struggling as people now to unify ourselves. This is crazy.
And what they're doing is they're making money off of heterosexual black male death. See, because they don't want us in the organization, but then every time a black male gets killed, they're marching and raising money. You know, and then you know, you have this these lawyers, it's really two basic lawyers, Crump and another guy, and they're always trying to get money for the survivors of that black male that died, that passed away. And you know, but they're never doing anything to change the law so that there is a consequence for killing the black male. You know?
Yes. Thank you, Skin Deep. Thank you for that. Yeah, there is. I don't understand. I mean, do you know what? I've actually gotten to the point in my life where I've stopped trying to understand now. And I think this is part of the reason which has driven me to become a Pan-Africanist, a non-active Pan-Africanist. I do believe in the Pan-African cause, but I don't know whether you could call me an activist. But I believe that, you know, where my origins came from, this is where we can sort of link up the diaspora with Africa and become this one all-ruling, powerful nation. Why not? That's what I feel like it can happen. But I think that there is space on this planet to have both movements, and I just feel like we're going to struggle even more if we have more division.
Both movements are not against one another. In fact, we need reparations to be able to go back successfully. No one wants to go back and then have to return back home because you didn't have enough money. Because if you go to Africa, a lot of people that are the common folk think we're rich because our money is a little bit longer than theirs. But the moment we're there, our money will disappear. You know, so we really don't have a lot of money. You need at least $500,000 to move back and set up a business and be able to support your business and fund your business, build a home, buy some land. You need some money, even though the land is only $1,000, $2,000 an acre, but your money will eventually evaporate.
But there are a lot of African Americans that have moved back to Africa, and many of them moved back there and they've stayed there for years, but they didn't have $500,000. But you know, I think they came in with the understanding that they could make money in Africa, which is, and especially from the standpoint of a diasporan, somebody with a passport that can go to some of the richest countries, paper-rich countries in the world. You know, we can just fly into China and fly to the United Kingdom and fly to America without having any problems, you know, and go inside there, build some sort of a relationship with another company and start something to and from Africa. We can do that. We have the power to do that. A lot of Africans, continentals, struggle on this part so I think we as continentals are lucky to that extent. We have that freedom to speak to some of these rich countries with some of the most powerful passports in the world. So we should be taking advantage of this. That's what I'm saying. We should be taking advantage of this. We should all be working together. I think that's generally that's just my point of view. I think
it's possible, but I think it's also a risk, you know, because if you get over there, everybody doesn't have the same resources. You know, maybe you have a certain resources that I don't have, or I do that you know that you don't have, but everybody just doesn't have access to the amount of resources to support them through the trials and tribulations of getting up and started. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, if you look at what's going on the African continent now, I think a lot of this is no mistake, is no accident. I think trouble is starting up in various countries because we're going back. Now they try to make it look like, oh well, in Ethiopia and Sudan, things are starting up because of the dam. Oh, in Nigeria, it's because of SARS and
I think SARS. I think
Gambia.
SARS was blown out of. I think SARS was sort of blown out of proportion by not by Nigerian people. They truly did want whatever to stop. They wanted it to stop, but I think that a lot of I think there were a lot of foreign countries that wanted to destabilize Nigeria as well, because it is the richest, powerful
but if we see that on the news and we're thinking about moving to Africa, people are going to be like, "Oh no, I don't know if I want to go there just now," you know. And then take you for example, you know, you're putting out there every week what's going on with the in Gambia, and people that wanted to go to the Gambia are having second thoughts.
Yeah, and that's the sad thing. So I'm going to start actually changing things now, because there are people there that you can trust, but I've been really busy trying to make the link from these people who are going there. And like you said earlier, they're not all African American. Clearly, the last two people you saw me post about were not African American. They were from my community, actually, they were British Afro-Caribbean. So there are people out there. Bag family, $6,000. Yeah, there are people out there that you can trust. So I'm going to start sort of trying to build a more positive image about the diasporans who have moved out there and who are trying to make a difference and are not caring solely about the money.
Juliet is really trying to make a difference. I mean, she's a person that's really working with people and help people out a lot. And anything that someone has said, I think it was unfounded, you know.
Yeah, of course. I think you're right. The ADOS, of course. I mean, if you look at the heart of any of the main movements, there is always someone from the ADOS community inside there, and this is what scares me a little bit, because you have a lot of people now who believe in your movement, but they're not attacking people like in the white extremists, neo-Nazis. They're not going after these people. You will rarely see them inside their comment section saying, you guys are a bunch of blah, blah, blah. But if you go onto any Pan-African YouTube channel, you will see at least one person. I'll tell you something. I'll tell you this. I have a because I'm a creator, I'm a content creator. I have YouTube Studio, and inside this studio, it's an app. Inside the studio, right? There's nothing I can do about controlling this, but it literally doesn't post comments from people who are saying bad things. Okay,
right.
so
Yeah,
swear words, all these types of things. And I can't screenshot it. I can't screenshot it now, but if you look at it, most of the people
Give
were
me
ADOS
1 minute.
members.
I'm listening to you. I'm here.
Yeah, okay. So most of those people inside this section of my YouTube studio were ADOS members who just said things which YouTube can't post. So I've literally had to start telling those people, I'm like, listen, I don't mind you coming on and giving me your opinion, but you need to clean up your language. And so a lot of people, this is what people are this is the face of ADOS that people are seeing, which really we don't want to see. I think I spoke in the last show before. Danny, turn on your camera and then you can come on. Turn on your camera, Danny. There is this is what I was talking about in the last show about a lady from the United States. She was from California. She was ADOS. She believed in your movement and everything, but she did not want to talk online. She did not want to go live. She did not want to have a conversation about it simply because of the other ADOS members being so on the offense all the time. She said, I don't want to be sort of put as being one of those people. I'm not one of those people. I mean, you know, and you could tell she was an intelligent mother. She was very articulate, you know, and I thought that's nice. It would be really good to have someone like that on the live stream, so people can see that it's not just a bunch of people out there who are trying to curse and swear and be angry all the time, which is part of the reason why it's important we spoke to you, Mr. Pirate.
Well, we're a damaged people,
David.
man. I mean, we're damaged, and here's one of the crosses that we have to bear. For example, and I think you kind of perpetuate a little bit. I think unwittingly you do, because you'll say, yes, ADOS. So it's like every time a Black person commits a crime, the whole race is crucified for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I have nothing to do with what Art Cathy and Crazy Boy did. So I don't and are ADOS, but I am ADOS. I mean, I'm a descendant of slavery in America. So when you say that, you're talking about me. So instead of saying ADOS, you should say this American woman, this Black American woman named Art Cathy.
I've called somebody a Black American before, and they were like, "No, we are ADOS." It's like, oh,
well, you aren't talking about them. If you called this one person this, you know, or Crazy Boy, you know, you make it specific to him and not the whole group. Then
what I did was I was attacked by ADOS members. It was definitively because I'm not joking.
If you do,
I literally
if you don't.
do you know I'm gonna try and screenshot it for you. I don't know if I can go.
No, I believe you. I mean, you don't have to.
It was crazy. A lot of people, and then I was thinking, come on, you gotta do. We could do better than this. We could, then you talk about African Americans, we're talking about the most You guys have literally sent an African American into space. I spoke about this a few weeks ago. There was an African American CIA asset who went into space. He went into the space shuttle, and he opened the door to the back seat as soon as they were in orbit, walked inside the back, engineered the satellite, the CIA satellite, and came back in. Nobody else was allowed to see what he did. He just walked back inside. These types of people you have, these are ADOS people. Okay, they have done things that most people here, most European white people here in Europe, have never done or would never even have a hope in doing in their entire lives. You guys have been doing this for decades and decades and decades, and then all of a sudden, the face that most people are seeing. I know you don't want to say that this is the case, and it probably isn't the case, but this is what most people are seeing. Most people are seeing ADOS as being very aggressive, and
but that's what they put on television. I mean, for years, all you saw was, you still see it, black people killing each other. You see the gangster rap, which is not all rap. It's the only rap they will put on television. You know, if you know, the with us calling the women bees and the N-word all the time, but say that about a Jewish person and see if that record gets put out.
Of course not.
but yeah, they will do that with us. They will have us act a certain way in television.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
So this is why the world views us this way, is because it's what you see, but it's not what exists. And then the one person that had a television show, they showed us going to college, they showed us with a loving family, with a doctor and a lawyer, they put in jail. And they say, well, he molested all of these women all the way up through the 70s. And so, well, why didn't anybody report it? Well, he was too powerful. What black man was so powerful in the 70s that they could molest a white woman and get away with it?
Yeah.
It isn't true, you know, and we sometimes, as black folks, as a ADOS, we don't think enough to go, wait a minute, you know, because I hear some of our black women say, yeah, he did it. It's like, come on now. He couldn't have done it. The only thing he's guilty of is messing around on his wife.
Yeah.
And that's not a crime. It's a moral sin, but that's between him and his wife, and she seems to be okay with it.
No, of course. There's a billion reasons why she's okay with it.
Well, it doesn't matter. But if she can forgive him, what is it our business what he did with another woman, as long as he didn't assault her or rape her?
Yeah,
I don't think he did, you know. And this is the thing that we have to deal with. And look, Bill Cosby represented more of my family than, let's say, the Good Times. The Good Times came on, and I loved that show. I used to watch it, but it didn't represent me. I grew up in a middle class home. Both of my parents were school teachers. Then they went and worked for the federal government. I grew up in what would be considered like a Cosby home. So I couldn't relate to those other ones that showed us in the ghetto and all of this. I mean, we grew up in Baltimore. I came up in Baltimore, but by the time I was 11, we were in a middle class home.
Yeah. I think did we not speak before? You got brought up in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And you moved to Texas afterwards.
No, man. I was brought up in Baltimore. Then our parents moved closer to DC, and then I got married, moved to Argentina,
Oh,
And
wow.
then I got into music, so I went toured all through South America. I've been to almost every country in South America except
Wow.
for Chile.
Can I ask you a question about South America, about Argentina itself?
Sure.
There isn't many black people there, right, in Argentina. It's not like Brazil or something, okay? I don't know if anybody knows that. And there's a reason why isn't many black people is there. I mean,
What'd
do
you
you
say?
know? There's a reason why there isn't many black people in Argentina. And I'm wondering whether you know the reason why there isn't many black people in Argentina.
Well, a lot of people say they killed them all off, and that's
Yeah.
not really true. It's not.
Okay.
It's not the real truth. What happened is there was this guy, General Rosas, who the black people loved him. He was beloved by the black people. And when they had the war, he sent all the black people to the front line, and they
Yeah.
were willing to go to
Yeah.
the front line. It wasn't that he made them go; they were willing to go and fight. And a lot of them got killed off fighting the wars. And I was friends actually with Rosa's great grandson. His name was Juan Manuel Suage Pinto. And I met him actually because he worked for the embassy. So I met him working for the embassy. And when I went there, we were good friends. So he told me a lot of the history. Yeah.
Because
So
I heard that.
I got it straight from the ancestors of this guy. Now you can call that a genocide if you want, but it wouldn't be no more genocide than us going and fighting in World War II.
That's very true. That's very forced to do that. You didn't have a choice. Yeah. Okay.
And the racism there, they were racist people. Okay. I'm not going to say there wasn't, but the hate was not there. I was more successful in Argentina than I ever was or could have been in the United States.
That's very interesting.
I didn't suffer from the hatred.
Wow. That is a very big statement to say from an American like yourself. Is it really that bad in the United States? I mean, I know I lived there as well. Have you ever been here? Yeah, I lived there. I lived there for 4 years. I went to university in Manhattan. I went to Manhattan University way back in the early 90s.
And you never felt it?
I felt the segregation. That's one thing that I wasn't used to, because I was brought up in Central Europe. I mean, in Western Europe. So I was brought up around people of many different races, and we all used to hang out with each other. We used to be friends with one another, and we never really had it in our minds that we were different, even though we were. But when I went to America, when I was in New York, I realized, wait a minute, why are the Jamaicans just hanging out with the Jamaicans? Why are the Dominicans just with the Dominicans? Why are the Irish with just the Irish? It was so weird to see the Italians in Queens just hanging out with other Italians. It's like, what's going on, man? It was really crazy. I know it's not like that throughout the United States, because I lived in upstate New York as well. And it was a little different up there. A lot more white people, but there was a lot more integration there, sort of that thing. But yeah, it definitely is. America's not my cup of tea. I didn't feel it, and perhaps because I wasn't around people of other races. I wasn't hanging out with them and stuff. I played basketball. I went to Manhattan. The only time I was mixing with white people and Asians or whoever, the only time that was happening was when I was sitting in a lecture hall or when I was studying. Sometimes I would study with different people. So that's the only time. But any time when I was outside, no. It's like,
did you work there, or did you stay after you finished school?
No. I was kicked out. I was kicked out of the States. That's a video for an. Actually, did I say it in a video? I said it in a video, didn't I?
Someone told me you were kicked out.
Yeah,
Well,
I was kicked out.
someone mentioned that you were kicked out, but
Yeah,
I didn't know why.
Yeah, it was because. Do you know Senator George Pataki? He was a former presidential.
Yes, yeah.
Not elect. Senator George Pataki. I spat at him. When he was governor of New York. I spat at him, and I was arrested for what you call it.
Why'd you
assault.
do that?
We was thingy. We was me and there was a protest going on in Albany. I wasn't in Albany for the protest. I just happened to be there with this Japanese guy from my uni. So I was just there, and we were coming through. We were on the way to Syracuse, I believe. We were on the way towards Syracuse, and we thought, oh yeah, we just join in and stuff. And yeah, that happened.
You forgot that you were a guest.
Yeah, that's probably it. I just felt, fuck off like this, and then, and it was because he was trying to initiate policy essentially to take away money from the universities or something like that. He's a greedy billionaire politician, so that's what we did. And what else happened? Yeah, so we both got arrested. We both actually, me and this Japanese guy, his name's Takuya Yukida. We both got arrested, and we both got chucked out the States. I've been back since, but yeah.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So you say that you didn't experience racism. You want to rethink that thought now?
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
did you just block it out?
I mean, yeah, I felt it, but it was different. I could handle that sort of thing, and I could handle it possibly because I knew I had a home to go back to, and it wasn't a third world country. You know what I mean? They put me on a business class flight to Heathrow, and I was thinking, oh yeah, can't wait. I was enjoying the flight. So it's a different experience than being brought back to Honduras, and you're like, oh my God, you're having to go back into a country which is not doing so well. Yeah. But of course they probably hit us with those charges, which, well, he's a senator, isn't he? He was a senator at the time. No, he wasn't a senator at the time. He was the actual governor of New York at the time. We're talking 1997 at the time, so it's a long time ago. Yeah,
but you had some place to go to. Now think of us; we don't have anywhere to go to. They'll just lock us up for years. Yeah. I understand that, and sometimes I think people don't take that into consideration. But that a lot of foundational Americans of African ancestry don't feel that connection with Africa. And wouldn't want to move back to Africa, and a lot of people don't respect that, and that they should. The reality is, Africa doesn't take up for us either. I'm 59. Okay, when I was 18, I used to march in D.C. To help liberate South Africa. I used to do the boycotts and everything. I don't see Africa trying to liberate us.
Yeah.
I don't see them speaking up against us when we have issues. And, I don't see them calling up the consulate saying, leave our people alone. So they want us to claim Africa, but Africa's not claiming us. That's a two-way street.
That's a valid point. Because
I claimed Africa when my brothers and sisters were getting beat up and killed in South Africa. I stood up.
Yeah.
And a lot of us stood up.
Yeah, including the Afro-Caribbean community as well. We did too. A lot of people did.
Yeah. Jesse Jackson kind of helped lead that movement. People talk about him, they don't like him now, but he led that movement with the Black community to help to boycott South Africa. And back in that time, I used to collect gold coins. The South African gold coin was cheap and valuable, and I still didn't buy it.
Wow.
I could have made a fortune.
Wow.
and I still didn't buy their gold. I didn't buy
I,
anything from
I,
South Africa.
I didn't realize that they were desperate, weren't they? A lot of
Yeah,
people don't. A lot of people don't realize that the white South African apartheid regime were desperate, and they came this close to getting wiped out by a lot of African countries that were just ready to pounce on
Angola was
them
ready
if
to get in
Mandela
there.
gave the word, which is scary that they were in a situation like this. You know, because obviously you can't run around Africa. This is what we've been trying to tell Art Kathy. You can't run around Africa and then start vitriol and this anger and just talking this way and then expect no comebacks. This is a lot of what the white South African apartheid regime did. They did something very similar, and of course, yeah, they had the Namibians. Who else? You had a lot of these countries that were neighboring South Africa, Angola as well. They were just all they were all already
And
militarized
Angola, they
and
were
ready.
ready to go just wipe them out. They weren't
Yeah,
talking about
they were
going to war.
exactly. You know how
And really,
African
that's
armies
what
do it.
probably what should have happened, and South Africa wouldn't be in the situation. Sorry.
Oh, you said it. You said it. If I was to say something like that, people would be like, "What?" You know, it wouldn't. It would. A lot of middle class South African black people now. That middle class is slowly starting to grow, and I think that is thanks to Mandela, because at the end of the day, if it wasn't for him, he had the power to just say, you know, you've taken 25 years of my life away. There are going to be, 50,000 armed black men that are going to be coming to this place, and they're not going to worry about whether you're a man or a woman or a child or a baby. This is the way they act. They are those types of people, and I've got to praise Nelson Mandela for that, because he knew what was coming, and he literally saved their bacon. But now we're in a situation, you see now in South Africa, you got these very wealthy white people, very, very wealthy white people, who are still that 1%. And you have the black population, the native population, that are still struggling. They're still struggling, and it shouldn't be that way. Once again, in a country with the resources that Africa has, the diamonds, the gold, everything, there shouldn't be a black South African living in poverty in that country. But that's capitalism for you, and let's just hope it changes for them. Guys, it's coming up to what I wanted to talk for an hour. I wanted to talk for an hour, but it's gone on a bit longer. I'm going to do another broadcast tomorrow, actually, but really this time I am going to talk for an hour. I'm just going to top it up for an hour. I think we're going to talk more about ADOS. So if you can join us, David, that'll be really cool. I'm going to put out, because I want to bring in some more people. I'm going to try and get a hold of, what's his name? Dean something. No, he's a guy from the Netherlands. I'm going to try and get a hold of him, see if he can come in. He's also an ADOS member, quite vocal spoken ADOS member. So I'm going to try and
gentleman that you had on as a guest, he was very eloquent in the way that he put it, because it's the truth. I think that the division is not coming from ADOS; it's coming from people attacking ADOS. Parnell, Antonio Moore, these people are doing a good work. They didn't invent it, but they're doing a good work, and it doesn't matter that her sexual preference, which everybody tends to try to make it that. It's not about that. It's about the facts, the data.
Yeah. And I think I would like to. I wish the ADOS movement well. I really do. I hope that they get their reparations, because it's going to help everybody else. But I just really hope, and once again, I know you're saying that it's none of my business, but I really hope that they don't mismanage that money and end up back in the hands of the people they took it from in the first place. I don't think we
I
want
told
that.
you what I'm going to do, and you should really hope that we win this battle, because whenever African Americans or African descendants of slaves win, Africans around the world win.
Mm-hmm.
We fought
exactly
for apartheid to come down, and it came down.
Yeah.
We fought for civil rights, and you were able to come to the United States because of that.
Mm-hmm.
So if we get reparations, you better believe that Jamaicans are going to get reparations.
Of course.
And,
it'll just tumble down. It'll all tumble down. I absolutely believe that 100%. Hello, Danny.
Yeah.
Oh, Danny.
I'm going to jump off, man. It was great talking to you. Thanks for having me.
Okay, David. Okay, David. I hope you come back tomorrow. If you got time,
okay,
come on.
I
and
will.
have a
What
chat.
time are you coming on?
I don't know yet, but I'm going to put out a message after this, and I'll try and let people know. Okay.
All right. Okay.
All right,
Take care of
David.
yourself.
Have a good day. Have a good day.
All right, man.
Take care. Okay. Bye bye. Hello.
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, but I can't see you.
Okay. I think the issue is that we need to really create a distinction between Pan Africanism and hoteps, because a lot of the problems that you see, it's not that ADOS has a problem with Pan Africanism within itself in its original context. It's the hotep influence into it. Because if you look at Pan Africanism,
explain what a hotep is first, please. Explain because not everybody knows. I don't. What's a hotep?
A hotep is essentially like the Alex Joneses of the Black community. Like, they believe in, you can never get a straight answer from, you interview 5 hoteps, you'll get 5 different answers. Mm-hmm. It's like you got your hoteps that believe that we all originated from Egyptians and they was back into the Egyptian movement. Now you have the ones who they're more so centered on Western Africa. It's just a hodgepodge of different ideologies, you know what I mean? And identities. And I believe that, but when you look at Pan-Africanism on the continent, it's a totally different concept. Whereas it's a unification of different countries and just a unity that they all bring together. Mm-hmm. In Hotep, I give you an example, right? If you look at somebody like Walter Maya, what he's pushing for, or Kwame Nkrumah, he was married to an Egyptian woman. So their concept of Pan-Africanism is uniting the continent and all the different countries coming together for a common goal. But if you look at Hoteps will blow a gasket if you come to the continent and marry an Egyptian woman. You know what I mean? It's a real, and I hate to use the word delusional, but if you listen to a lot of them, it's like they suffer from delusions of grandeur and a lot of them, they're in a sunken place. Like a lot of their content is around, we need to come to Africa and heal, and the Black Americans, we lost, we don't know our history, we don't know our culture. And see, that's where the problem comes with ADOS, because you will not hear ADOS with that type of rhetoric. ADOS feelings, if we have a lineage, we have a culture, we know who we are, and we just want to be respected for that. Like we are the sons and daughters of the cotton pickers who built America. So, and if you try to take that from us, when you try to take that from us or minimalize that, that's where a lot of the problems come. So if you look at ADOS, the rhetoric is never directed at continental Africans. It'll always be like second generation Africans who live in America, who have an opinion on how we should identify as, how ADOS should identify. And I say 90% of the animosity is towards delusional hoteps that just come in and pretty much throw a monkey wrench in conversations and take it somewhere that the conversation doesn't even need to be. Because if you look at ADOS from, I say, the early days of Yvette Carnell and the message that it is, because ADOS within itself is really a political movement in America. It's more so centered around politics. It's not personal. It's not about personal relationships that we have with Africans, because any African that live in America will tell you that the ADOS community, they never had any problems. You know, like on our personal everyday relationships, there's never any problems. You know what I mean? Like you don't have the xenophobia that you'll find in South Africa. But initially the problem started with ADOS was anti-immigration. But see, what people don't understand is when we talk about immigration in a political context in America, it has nothing to do with Africans. They could pass 1 million immigration laws in America and Africa will not benefit from it, period. It's liberal and democratic policies where they want to bring in the, like you touched on earlier, the Hispanics and the Mexicans, you know, that's coming in and into our communities. So when ADOS took a stance against that, a hard right stance against that, like, no. All this immigration and Africans and other, I guess, black people felt like, oh, you against us. It's like, hold up, we fighting. This ain't even got nothing to do with you right now. And they drowned out the conversation. So now it's no longer about us addressing Mexicans and Hispanics and, you know, issues that's pertinent to that. Now you made it about us. Now you got us fighting amongst each other when it wasn't even about you. Because in the grand scheme of things, black immigrants in America are really irrelevant. Like when you hear immigration, what did you hear? You hear about the border walls and separation of families at the border. It's always centered around Hispanics. It's never about Africans. You know what I mean? It's never, when they talk about H-1B visas, they're not talking about Africans. They're talking about bringing in Indians from India and giving them tech jobs. You know, you understand what I'm saying?
That's true.
That's true. So that's why. Go ahead.
Can I just let me ask you about what I spoke to David. There was another guy that was on before who's also very pro ADOS as well. I
just came in, so I might have missed it.
Okay.
Could you just give me a basic rundown?
He just said something about the money that the ADOS movement is asking for. The reparations. It may not even be money, actually.
Okay.
Do you think that that we as a people, I say we, I talk about black people, that we are in a position where we can responsibly spend that money? I have no idea. No.
Now, see, I'm gonna catch a lot of flack for this because I would say I'm probably in the minority of ADOS people and my thoughts on this, but I don't support cash reparations per se, in the form of just cash payments. I mean, that's just my personal opinion because I mean, we just got almost $2 trillion stimulus check, and I'm seeing the money. I'm seeing it, you know, in my neighborhood now. You know, you can see Lamborghinis and Benzes now, you know, like literally. But I support reparations, and I feel like reparations would be better implemented in the form of structural changes to address that lineage of slavery. Like if you're familiar with Cory Booker just put together a package to address black farmers. It was like I forgot how many acres to address the black farmers, you know, that lost their land during the time of Reconstruction because if you know the history of Jim Crow and all that in America, when the black farmers was shut out and their farms was taken, the sharecroppers and all that. So he's putting together a package to address that, where they're offering land and programs and incentives for that. And I believe reparations should be in the form of something of that nature, where you address institutional and structural changes, you know, whether it be in the form of education or access to capital for businesses and things of that nature. But just a one-time cash payment, like how much could you possibly give us that'll close the racial up gap? Like that's realistic. You know?
That sounds actually very reasonable. Money is finite, but you know, putting you in a situation where you can essentially build something that will last generation
Not
after
even-
generation after generation after.
Not even. Oh, I apologize for cutting you off, but I just want to say this: it's not even
go
about
ahead.
giving. It's not even about giving to. It's about reparations. You have to understand, reparations is a justice claim. It's not. It's not like a welfare check. It's not like a stimulus package. You understand what I'm saying? It's a justice claim to address injustices that happen. You know, so with like the land reform, with the land bill I was just speaking of with Cory Booker. I mean, these were real issues that happened, you know, where if these farmers would have had their land not taken from them, then they would not be in the position that you see rural black communities in today. You know, so we have to look at it at, you know, the access to education, you know, where, as you know, they talk about, you see it in the news now with the Asian community for some reason, talking about affirmative action when everybody knows that white women and all these other people benefit from it. But what about legacy admissions? This comes, all those kids in Harvard, those legacy admissions, that comes from being born into a family with wealth dating back to slavery a lot of times, or just having a family where you were able to accumulate wealth. So you were able to send your kids to college, you were able to do that. And historically, I mean, let's face it, you know, we didn't get the opportunity to really go to equal schools until 1965. That's not long, you know, like most of our parents did not have those opportunities. So reparations in the form of education opportunities, you know, waive tuition for those and things of that nature. I feel like that'll make a bigger impact than just giving everybody what, a $10,000 check. I mean, what is that? 10,000 is nothing, you know. That won't
Yeah. I think it would have to be something like, I mean, I'm not sure if you know the way we have a country here in Europe called Norway, and Norway has everybody that's a Norwegian has a legacy payment. So if you're born a Norwegian, you are straight away, as soon as you come out of the womb, you're worth $100,000 straight away. And I think Americans have, as soon as you're born, you get even us actually in the United Kingdom.
Well, I don't know about Norway, but if you're familiar with the Indians, the Native Americans, like their reservations, all the money generated from the casinos, and like you have Indian tribes such as the Seminole Indians and the Miccosukee Indians, like they get a reoccurring check every month for like $5,000 just for being born an Indian. You know what I mean? Wow. As a part of their reparations, and they have their own land. They're exempt from taxes. They have schools on their reservation they go to. So, you know, I mean, it can be done because it has been done. It's just the U.S. government doesn't want to do it. And I think that's where a lot of the, like, people take it personal when ADOS address like immigration and all that stuff. But when you have a person like, and another problem I have with ADOS, like just being honest, is like I feel like we put in the cart before the horse, and as much as the whole reparations argument, whereas it's good to talk about reparations, but if you can't establish lineage, then it's like we wasting our time. You know what I mean? If we just talking about reparations, and if you look in the political arena right now, like they won't even acknowledge the lineage of ADOS. Like they won't even acknowledge that there's a such thing. And I'm talking about from the people who we vote for, like Democrats. They won't even, like, we have been reduced to just minorities, people of color, just a flat blackness that you don't even know what it means. Well, a Chinese person can sign up sign up for it, you know? And I think people conflate that with us being xenophobic when we be like, hold up, Barack Obama, he's not a black man. He's not. Why is he talking about his ancestors? We don't have the same ancestors as him, you know? Or Kamala Harris. Nah.
Yeah.
Like, but they build their platforms off of using the rhetoric of ADOS and modeling themselves as if my ancestors, my history, but your history isn't here. You have nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? And your allegiance isn't going to be here. And you've seen that with Barack Obama, where not only did he refuse to do anything for ADOS, but he went to Kenya and totally ignored 90% everything that was going on in his ancestral homeland to talk about something totally irrelevant to the average Kenyan. You know what I mean? Because his interest, he has no connection to it, no interest in it. So instead, it was you know, he was going to talk about what he was sent there to talk about. If you know what I'm saying. I don't want to really say it out loud because, you know, it's kind of like a divisive topic. But you know what I'm talking about? You remember the speech that what Barack Obama chose to highlight on his Kenyan visit? It wasn't the Kenyan people. It wasn't the average Kenyan man or whatever they're going through. It's a group that's really in the United States that want to push their agenda to Kenya that he went there to represent.
Who?
So
Sorry,
I say,
who? Say that again.
No, I'm saying when Barack Obama went to Kenya and instead of addressing Kenya issues, he addressed the president about the LGBT issue. Now, that's not to take away from Kenyans who may be in Kenya who might actually be LGBT. But I mean, it's obvious that that was an agenda that was promoted from America, and they sent him there to talk about that, you know, from his donors and stuff like, you get what I'm saying?
Is it
That came from America. That came from America. That didn't come from the people of Kenya asking Barack Obama to come over there and address that, is what I'm trying to say. But by him not having that connection to Kenya, it's like he's not even aware of what the issues of the average person is over there. So instead, he comes there with his own agenda. And you see that manifested with ADOS when you get a president who's not ADOS, but pretends as if he is because he's been promoted by white liberals or whatever. And, you know, he's just going to push whatever agenda he tell him. And he has no connection. Like, you know, I mean, Barack Obama's wife, Michelle Obama, is from Chicago. She's from O Block. You know, like the amount of murders and everything that goes on and the problems in that community. Like, and she never showed up there. You never see anything there. So when you get these, so ADOS message is bigger than just immigration. It's about really just holding politicians accountable and who are you? You know, like when we question you, it's like, who are you? Who do you represent? Like, what are you? What are we voting for you for? Because identity politics in America is so big. You got politicians that run whole platforms just off identity politics, but never give you any inclination that they're going to do anything for you. You know, we're not asking for nothing. You got so many black people that just vote just because you look black. You're not even black. You could be a quadroon with a dash of, and that's your whole platform right there. Say a Martin Luther King speech and, you know what I mean? Talk about Harriet Tubman and there you go. You got 8 years to push a whole nother group's agenda.
Yeah.
And that's what ADOS is about. If you look at, I mean, forget about the comments that you may get in your comment section because you can't even really vet those comments, who's even saying it. But I mean, if you look at the platforms like Yvette Carnell, Sandy Darity, Tone Talks, the brothers at Be the Power, you know, I mean, and you see what real ADOS people are. And at the end of the day, to be totally honest, no disrespect, like, but the average ADOS person, like, is not even thinking about Africa, like, in no context. Like, it's not like Africa is not really a big thing, which is why I say we have to be able to differentiate between hoteps and, because what hoteps promote and say on their platform, it's not even the sentiments of, I would say, even a minority of an extreme minority of ADOS people. Like, if you come to America and you move to Atlanta and you tell somebody in Atlanta, oh, you're not American, you African. It's like somebody gonna take that as disrespect. Like, bro, what are you talking? Like, you gotta ride through cotton fields to get to Atlanta. You know, coming from Florida, you gotta ride through cotton fields. It's like, you know, people's ancestors buried on that land. You know, them been lynched on that land, and you telling us I can't claim my ancestors. I can't even acknowledge them. And you telling me I gotta acknowledge something that I gotta take a DNA test to prove. When my grandmother done told me the stories of her life when she was growing up and her aunties and uncles, you know, that may have been lynched or was sharecroppers on these lands in America, you know. I mean, that's like a real disrespectful. But I don't place the blame on Africans because, I mean, it's kind of like a conflicting message. Because on one hand, you got hoteps telling them one thing. So they think, oh, okay, you know, that's how Black America, but it's like, yo, you gotta, you know, you gotta pump the brakes. Yeah. Just out of respect. It's like me as an African American. If I was to go to Nigeria, you know, I won't tell an Igbo man, oh, you don't have the right to fight for Biafra. Oh, the Biafran war wasn't nothing. Oh, the Fulanis don't owe you nothing because they only gave you $20 after the war and destroyed everything your parents ever worked for, you know? I mean, that would be an extremely outrageous, disrespectful thing to do. Even demanding citizenship, like, you know, not to say anything about the woman in Gambia, the black shit, but I mean, that's kind of like the sense of entitlement to feel like you can just step foot in the country and you automatically entitled citizenship. That's kind of like, it's like we got to be careful and respectful of each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what you know what I mean? You just step off a plane and I'm supposed to just give you citizenship.
But you know what? I think in all fairness to Blacksit, I think she's one.
No, that wasn't disrespect. That wasn't disrespect toward the actor.
I know, but I'm saying there are a lot of genuine repatriates who want to go back to Africa to build Africa and make it a better place. They don't like if a lot of immigrants, the immigrants that to America, they came to the United States of America, made it a better place. And I think that she made the assumption that the natives would want that they would want us to have automatic citizenship. I think it would have been only perhaps even more respectful to have held a referendum of some kind, and just to make sure that the African people actually wanted that the Gambians there, that they actually wanted that, and also to gather a bit more strength for the automatic citizenship that she was trying to promote over there, which is still very much in the works at this present moment. A lot of people think it's dead and buried, but it's not. So yeah, I'm just hoping that we get to communicate with one another better. We have the internet now. We should be communicating and talking to each other just like this. I just had a message here on the live stream saying, "Oh, I was expecting this guy to pop up. Someone was expecting you to start."
I think I said that.
Oh, you think you said it?
About you earlier? No, because when I first came into it, somebody told me jump in the live stream, and I'm like, man, I'm not going to get into this, because a lot of the conversations are so emotional based and just almost slanderous when it comes to ADOS, and you know, it's like almost a waste of time, you know, to even talk about it, because like I say, in the grand scheme of things, like Pan-Africanism and Africa within itself to the ADOS movement is like irrelevant. You know, if you just look at the rhetoric from any of those content creators I told you, and these aren't just content creators, these are people that's actually like working on legislation. Like, legislation was passed in California just recently to address reparations and the legacy and what role the state of California benefited from those people, and land issues that may have been property stolen, and, you know, redlining, and how does that play? You know, it's a lot of economics behind the ADOS movement. And when you have the ADOS movement in Pan-African spaces, the conversation is always around emotions and like just personal. Like, it's like, bro, this ain't even personal. Like, you know, it has nothing to do with how I feel about you, because if you, as the caller said earlier, you know, in the grand scheme of things, if ADOS make progress, the progress is going to trickle back down across the Caribbean. Everywhere is going to set precedents. You know, but it's like you so busy fighting us for essentially a pipe dream. Like Hotep Pan-Africanism is a pipe dream. You know what I mean? It's something that exists in people's head. You know what I mean? Like, but the reality is, as much as Ghana portrays itself to be Pan-Africanism, it's not. You know, I mean, I can't move to Ghana as an African American and be considered Ghanaian. You know, they're not going to accept me as a Ghanaian. And I'm not talking about on a personal level between the people in the streets. I'm talking about in a real tangible way. Will I be able to just come over there and open up a business as another Ghanaian would? No, they set up roadblocks and impediments for, okay, you have to come, you as an ADOS, you need to bring $500,000 to even register your business here. You as a Nigerian, you need to bring $1 million to even trade in our country. I mean, that's not Pan-Africanism. You know what I mean? That's not Pan-Africanism.
That's very true. It's very expensive.
You know, the year return was a marketing and promotion ploy for the tourism board to bring in money, and it worked. You know, they generated over $1 billion during that time frame. You know, in Pan Africanism, it's not. You know, which is why you see some people in hotels get a lot of people caught up with these Pan African pipe dreams and thinking people could just move over there and, oh, you'll be accepted. But even like you see with the art captain situation, and not to dwell on that, you know, the minute he said,
I'm getting a
no,
lot of pushback from
I'm not,
people.
we're not gonna get into her specifically. I'm just want to just to grant the minute she came over there and spoke, she spoke as an African American. She didn't speak as an African. You get what I'm saying? And they made that distinction clear, like, hey, you don't come over here and say what you want to say. But in America, African Americans are known for saying what we want to say. You know, like that's a freedom that we have here to say what we want to say and speak our mind. But that's not a freedom that we're afforded in Africa when we go back. And we need to be cognizant of that because we are not Africans. That's not our land. We don't have that right. And I mean, I just use her as an example to say that, you know, even though I believe that even her thing was just a stick, you know, like a little marketing stick, you know. But
I'm getting a lot of people talking in the comments. I've got 2 people saying that they want the cash.
this is what I'm telling you. America just passed almost $2 trillion stimulus check. Everybody just got $1,500 and just out the gate, something like that. You got people got all type of loans, but what did it do? You didn't see it. So how much can we honestly think that America is going to allocate to ADOS people that will really make a tangible change as far as closing the wealth gap? Because ADOS, it's not about you personally. It's about closing the racial wealth gap in America. It's not about whether or not you get to pay your light bills next month with this money. It's about, can we make a dent in the racial wealth gap between the descendants of slave owners and the descendant of the slaves? And I don't believe that anybody can honestly say that a one-time stimulus check, even if it's $100,000, you know what I mean? Like I know people that came across $100,000 in lawsuits and things like that and were broke in 90 days. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
I mean, that's a reality. That's a reality. I mean, I don't know how.
You're making a very valid point there. And this is why it's important that this is why I think why the ADOS movement, why it needs to perhaps.
Hello.
Hello, guys. Sorry about that. Battery went. I was charging it, but it just went. I'm not sure why that happened. I'm sorry about that. I am back. I'm sorry about that, Danny. If you're still there. My battery died. I had my iPad charging, but it simply died on me. I'm sorry about that. Nothing I could do. So anyway, yeah, what Danny was saying essentially was that that ADOS should more concentrate on getting some sort of reparations in the form of structural change, and the reality is, probably makes a valid point of what I was thinking as well. Okay, of course, it's nothing to do with me, yeah, but we're here talking about it anyway. So I think it would be better. What we don't want to do is enrich other races, do we? We want to keep that money in within our circle, like the Jewish people did. We have a football team in Holland. It's called Ajax. There's a football team, a soccer team, as you Americans would call it, and they never spend big money on players. They never do. What they do is they take very young, very talented football players from all around the world, and they train them up. And there is another team in England called Tottenham Hotspur, and they don't do that. They have the money, so they buy a lot of these players. They just buy them. They can buy players for 40, 50, whatever, 100 million if they want to. And both of these teams are owned by Jewish people, and they will only buy players from each other. This is what I'm talking about. That they would never consider spending big money with a team that isn't owned by a Jewish person. Okay, so I know it's a bit of an extreme, but this is literally what they do to keep the money inside their community. Even there on a big professional level, this is what they do. Guys, literally, I only wanted to be on for an hour, and I literally stayed for 2 hours. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. But tomorrow I'm going to come back on. We're going to have a quick chat, literally for just an hour tomorrow. We're going to talk more about this. I would really like to bring up what I'm actually. Do you know what? We'll talk about it tomorrow. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up writing up this video now, and then tomorrow I'm going to post it so you guys can have a chat about it tomorrow. It's more to do with the Gambia stuff, guys. Boy, I've opened up what's that thing called? Pandora's box here. So, yeah. Okay, guys. So I'm sorry about that. Sorry, my battery just went. Tomorrow I will see you guys. I will give you guys a time. And put it inside the YouTube channel so you guys will know. Okay, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ra a bit.